All right, guys, how's it going? Well, I've been on a scooter down to the garage, bought today's football dailies, went to the cafe, had some coffee, reviewed the papers, and I have got so much to tell you today, right? Thanks to those of you that support my channel through the channel memberships and through buying me a coffee using the super thanks on here, because we worked out the other day doing the Spanish football dailies is costing between 200 to 250 a month, depending on how many coffees they have. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, technically I could come home and sit here and review them. But the good thing is going to the cafe, I've got the Spanish workmen, my friends, the owner, the staff. I can ask them certain words sometimes that I don't understand and you can't get a proper translation of them. So I do appreciate you guys, enable us to do this. And we're doing it because we're keeping an eye really on what they're saying about Trent and Real Madrid. You know my opinions about Trent and Real Madrid and the other players and the contract, so I won't go into that right now. But basically, the Liverpool clique of journalists, after I stopped reviewing the Spanish football dailies when the transfer window closed, because we were watching in the summer for Zubimendi, Cubo, Milli Vanilli, Mamadashvili, the Liverpool clique of journalists started making out that the papers every day were full of Trent to Real Madrid and all that kind of speculation. And I was saying to you guys, I'm here in Spain. That's not happening. So I started buying the Spanish football dailies again to show you whether that's true or not, right? So yes, I even make videos when there's nothing in the papers about Trent. And it's just so that you can see the extent of the reporting here in Spain, right? And since I started doing these again, none of those journalists are saying anything. Have you noticed that? So we'll move on. I can tell you right now, if you don't have much time, if you can't be asked to watch the video or whatever, there is nothing in today's Spanish football dailies about Trent Alexander-Arnold and Real Madrid, and there hasn't been since the day we played Real Madrid in the Champions League. There has also been no reporting today in any of the Spanish football dailies regarding Real Madrid's need for a right-back. Since that game in the Champions League, there have been articles about Real Madrid's need for a centre-back, but they've gone quiet on the right-back position, all right? So I know some of you hear that every time I make a video, but we have newcomers and it's important that they're aware of the state of play. Now, I only bring the newspapers back to show them, not to validate, but just to show you what's in there, if there's something of interest, right? So I haven't brought the other two back. I leave them in the cafe for the workmen. It's just a way of helping people. So what we're going to talk about in this video, right? So there's nothing about Trent. There is stuff about Zubimendi. There is stuff about my boy, Iago Aspas, all right? He's my man. You know I like him. So there's a little bit about him. There is a full page dedicated to Alexis Macallister today in AS, where he is asked about if he wants to play in Spain. And it's a substantial interview, to be honest with you. Here's the article in AS. And I think there's a couple of bits here. Look here. See this one here? That says, España, Spain, basically. Would you like to play in Spain or whatever? And he gives his views on that. And I can tell you, if you haven't got time to watch all of this, that he says he wants to play in Spain one day. I think because this is quite a lengthy interview, I'm going to make a separate video about that, all right? Because you're going to start to see this appear in the UK soon and online, and then they're going to dramatise it. Do you know that? They're going to sensationalise it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just giving you a heads up of where that's coming from. In this video, if you stick with me, I'll touch on exactly what he says, but I'll give you the brief version. I won't read all, the answers to every question in here. He does talk about Salah and Trent and Virgil, their contracts and things. But like I say, I will do a standalone video after this, touching on this interview. I think it's important, but I'm going to save all my opinions for that particular video, okay? So there's a lot in... It took me fucking eye out. So there's a lot in this, I think, in this one. So I'm going to do it in order of newspaper, okay? Front page headline today of Marca. Atletico set La Liga on fire was the headline. That's following a 4-3 win over Sevilla yesterday. Atletico are on a great run of form, having achieved 9 consecutive victories. Now, centre-back Loic Bade was involved for Sevilla yesterday. This is a player that's been linked with Liverpool, but he could be the one that, if things hadn't have worked out with Virgil, he could have been the one that the Reds were looking at. So I'm not sure this is a centre-back they will target when Virgil signs his agreement with us. Or if this was just one that was like, well, if he goes, we're going to target him. Now, if you remember, when the transfer window closed, very shortly after the transfer window closing in the summer, I shared information with you about Richard Hughes going out to Seville. And never thought anything more of it. And then a few weeks later, I mentioned Loic Bade, and someone, hey, Dunk, do you remember Richard Hughes was out there? And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, do you remember that? So I think there's something here. I think Loic Bade is absolutely 1,000,000% has been on Liverpool's radar, or is on Liverpool's radar. But I don't know if it's as a fallback to Virgil van Dijk or as another centre-back they might be looking at, regardless of his contractual situation. Anyway, he did play, but he only received a 1-star rating from a possible 3 stars. 4 players received 2 stars in comparison, and nobody got a 3. And it was a massive game, 4-3, 7 goals, but he didn't stand out in that game. It leaves Atletico 1 point behind Real Madrid on 35 points. Real are on 36, and they've both played 16. Barcelona are the leaders on 38 points and have played 1 game more, okay? So there was an article inside titled La BMV, vuelve a arrancar. Hey, how good's my Spanish? And basically that translates to the BMV starts up again. Now, BMV is a term that's used quite a bit here in the media. And thanks to my extensive experience and knowledge, I can tell you that it refers to the offensive partnership of Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, and Vinicius Jr., right? So BMV, if you see that mentioned. Obviously, I don't know if you know this, but there is a tradition of naming Real Madrid's attacking trios with the initials of their players. For example, previously it was BBC. Bale, Benzema or Benzema, however you want to pronounce it, and Cristiano Ronaldo, BBC. Which reminds me, I wonder how the product's doing today. He's a good lad that comments on my videos. The term BMV also, of course, plays on the phonetic similarity to the German car brand BMW, adding a distinctive touch to the nickname. Do you like my notes? I do all this in cafe. It takes me fucking ages. That's why I need my coffee. So anyway, Marker Wright, the BMV goes into the game after a tune-up, a visit to the workshop with the aim of the engine performing as it should. The pressure applied by Atalanta will be a good way to check if the mechanism, what the fuck? Am I struggling to pronounce English? Nothing new there, is there? The mechanism works as expected. Basically, Real play Atalanta tomorrow in the Champions League, and the Italians are one of the most informed teams in the competition, having 9 consecutive wins and having gone 14 without defeat, whereas Real Madrid, they've had 3 defeats in 5. Now, Ederson from Atalanta let me just go on to him. The 25-year-old defensive midfielder, I expect will be in action in that game. I'm not aware of any injuries to him or anything. Now, he was heavily linked with us in the summer, if you remember. And according to my friends at the club, I don't like saying things like sources. I feel like a fucking teenager saying that. Liverpool did make an attempt to sign him in the summer, and that interest remains, apparently. It was one of those that I watched all summer, do you know what I mean? And there was like, Liverpool appeared to sniff around him twice in the summer, but nothing materialised, as you know. Maybe that is because they turned their attentions to Zubimendi. Now, there were reports last week that Arsenal and Liverpool had balked at the current £50 million valuation of him. I don't know if that's true. Arsenal, it's probably more to do with Arsenal. I'm not really sure Liverpool... Why would Liverpool balk at the price last week? They know how much this player would cost. So I think that was just lazy journalists trying to include Liverpool's name, to get hits, views, these content creators, these Twitter twats just throwing Liverpool's name in there. He is under, He's under contract until 2027. If you just want to think about the valuation, £50 million maybe, 3 years, couple of years left on his contract or whatever. I guess it's 2 years and a bit. Is that right? I don't know. My maths is terrible. My boy Aspas, there was a headline today. Aspas recovers his best figures at 37 years. The captain is Celta's top scorer with 6 goals in the league. Against Mallorca, Aspas scored his 6th goal of the season in the league, which makes him the top scorer for Celta. He has also provided 3 assists. Last year at this time, he'd only scored 1 goal. Claudio Giraldez knows that he must protect his star player, who will end his contract at 38 years of age, or he'll be almost 38 when his contract expires. But barring any surprises, they expect him to extend again. Staying with AS. We are with AS, aren't we, now? Are we with AS or are we with Marca? No, this is Marca. I do apologise. We're still with Marca. They said, they touched on Chelsea today, and the headline was Chelsea are back, and that refers to their 5 consecutive wins and 8 games without losing. And they're basically saying, you know, like, Chelsea are back. These are the ones that can challenge Liverpool. That's why I've included that for you. Real Sociedad, okay, they thrashed Leganes 3-0 away from home. Martin Zubimendi was taken off injured in the second half following an elbow to the back. Now, apparently, he has to be withdrawn. And his manager said after the game that it sounded serious. He's going to be examined today. The media are reporting that it's a right dorsal lumbar contusion. I was like, what the fuck's that mean? So basically, just in case you're a bit like me and you don't know, this injury involves bruising to the muscles, soft tissues or skin in the dorsal, which is the back, and lumbar, lower back regions of the body. He's got a back fucking injury. Why don't they just say that? Anyway, depending on the severity, a player with that injury could be out from anywhere between 1 week to 8 weeks, 2 months. He's played more minutes than any other Real Sociedad player, so this is obviously a huge blow to them, and they're talking about that in all the papers today. And it could be an issue, of course, for any clubs that were thinking of making, a January move for him. We know there's ongoing speculation about Zubimendi. People think he might go to Man City. I'm not sure he would go to Man City, to be honest with you. I'm not sure he would move January mid-season anyway, because of his loyalty to that club. Possibly in the summer, you know what I mean? But I think it's important that you know what's happening with Martin Zubimendi, because if you see any speculation this week that we're going to move for him or Man City, you now know that he's injured. Do you know what I mean? And he could be out from anywhere from a week to 8 weeks. So I suspect that maybe tomorrow I can update you, or certainly during the week, as to what the status of that injury is. Okay? Okay, that was Marca. We're now moving on to AS. They lead with the headline that, about Atletico's win at the weekend again. There's a lot of praise for Jude Bellingham due to his recent performances. They talk again about Real Madrid's game at Atalanta. And they also run an article titled "The Alternative is Chelsea," in reference to the Premier League race this year again. So another publication also saying, hey, Liverpool, the alternative is Chelsea. All right? So that's the vibe over here. Now, this is where it gets tasty, because then there is an interview here with Alexis Macallister. I will do a standalone with you, video for that, just in case, because some people, I don't know, it don't fucking matter. You obviously know what standalone means. The system, he talks about the system, we're very good. With Slot, we have the ball more than before. With Spain, he says, he was asking, why not play there one day? I like it. He likes the idea of it. He wants to play in Spain. His quotes are a bit more specific than this, but he's fine at Liverpool. He's asked about, how it compares between Slot and Klopp. Talks about the rivals, talks about beating Madrid, Mbappe, tomorrow, Salah, Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, the World Cup, excuse me, Messi. And do you ever see yourself in Spain? It's important. I won't go into it now. I'll do it in the other video. So that concludes AS. And then there was Sport. Front page was 100% behind Flick. Basically, the stance at Barcelona is that they have full confidence in the German coach despite recent results in La Liga. They are league leaders, 2 points clear of Real Madrid, who have a game in hand. The club wants to avoid alarmism, although the downward trend is worrying. That's what I picked up from this article. Now, in headline, inside there was an article saying agreement between Salah and Liverpool to renew for 2 seasons. This, of course, is in reference to an article published by the Mirror newspaper. Now, this is where I would urge some caution. I would beware, reports from Spain suggest a deal is done, because today some people might pick up on this and they will not tell you. They'll leave the bit out there to do with the Mirror, all right? So if you see reports today, say, reports from Spain say Salah's agreed a 2-year deal, it's because the journalists here are picking up what's been reported in England. And the original article wasn't by any means groundbreaking at all. It basically said what any of us could say, and I'd ignore it. Like, Salah, it looks set to sign 2-year deal, bar any last-minute changes. I think it's fairly obvious. It wasn't an interesting article. Your content creators on Twitter twats, they'll have made videos. I didn't make a video about it. They'll have made stuff about it. I mean, I might make a video today, although I'm running out of time. I'm having the afternoon off, if you like. But it wasn't something that made me think, fuck, I need to go and address that, because I know you guys that follow my videos are fucking intelligent. And you'll have seen that article. And if you listen, to the advice I give you, you hopefully have my head on when you read this stuff and go, well, what's fucking groundbreaking about that? Now, had it been written by Dave Maddock at the Mirror, I'd have paid attention to it. You know what I'm saying? So, or I would have paid more attention, but I'd have still said, Dave, what's fucking new in that? Look at the disclaimers that are in that article. So I think you're I wouldn't be paying much attention to that. 16 minutes long, almost 70 minutes, not too bad, which means I do have time to do this Macallister video for you. Monday afternoons I have off because my best friend, he has his his mornings off, he's in America, and we'll be jumping on the Xbox. So maybe we'll be live right now, youtube.com/Duncan Oldham. Come along, you'll just see us fucking around. Anyway, that concludes today's review of the Spanish football dailies. Do you think that it would be good for me to do this as a permanent thing? Do you think it would be good for me to create a newsletter for people of all clubs, maybe, to follow what's actually being said in Spain, rather than relying on these twats? What do you think? Can I just say, not everyone on the screen is necessarily a twat. This is the column here I follow, and there could be people on here that I do listen to. It's very unlikely. Most of it's fucking garbage on there, to be honest with you. It's keywords that I monitor for you. I'm not following these people, okay? It's me keeping an eye on things for you. Do you think I should create I was thinking of creating a newsletter about Spanish football news, do you know what I mean? And maybe even a YouTube channel just dedicated to that, without the emphasis of Liverpool. What do you think? Would that be good? Was that something that you would subscribe to? I have a lot of fans from other clubs that follow my videos, and they're constantly saying, wish you did news about my club and all that, you know what I mean? I wish we had someone like you, which is nice. But let me know. I'm toying with it because it's something that I enjoy doing. And it's giving a British person's perspective on what's being said in Spain, rather than having to rely on these clowns that will not be 100% honest with you. Some of them will be, I suspect, but I doubt. I put it this way, I don't see much on there and go, oh, that's right, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Okay, let me know your feedback, please, guys. But I will, of course, continue to do the morning briefings exclusively for you guys in terms of Liverpool content, regardless. But when the contract situations are signed, or resolved, should I say, they will sign. Do you think, would you like to see a review of this kind of stuff on a daily basis to do with what the papers are saying, former Liverpool players in Spain, and do you want a feel of the brief sort of updates, Real Madrid, Barcelona, what do you think? Let me know, okay? Listen, guys, I appreciate you. You know that I love doing the dailies for you, and it's something different that I can offer you. All right. If you appreciate this video, please thumbs up the video. If you have a comment regarding anything in this video, please do. Drop me a comment, and if you want to support my channel, my efforts, you can buy me a coffee, which is the super thanks. It's like a little hub art under the video. If you don't see it or it doesn't work, there are 3 alternative ways of supporting in the video description, and of course channel membership here is most helpful. And it's Christmas, so now's the time to become a Cop Talk VIP member and put a big smile on my chubby cheek so I can get a super big fucking turkey. All right, I know I look like a turkey. Right, I'll leave it with you guys. All right, I'll be with you shortly. Take care.